What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Life of Cletus. Today I'm going to talk over and give you guys a little summary of the Funko booth of what I saw there. The booth is probably the biggest booth, if not Lego maybe had a bigger booth because they had the bigger sign. It's like whoever's the bigger sign wins. At the Comic-Cons, Funko wins. But I'm going to go over and give you guys a little voiceover for this because at these kind of events, there are a massive amount of people there talking to you and trying to see stuff. So it's really hard to be able to talk and to be able to actually review the products with you. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it right now.
Here we go, Cletus.
Alright guys, we're going to get straight into it, right with the Game of Thrones Funko Pop with each character on the throne. You can see in the background a little bit of the pop actually sitting on the throne in the box, which is pretty cool. The only complaint that you can really see here is some of the characters don't sit as well. Like the Night King fits very well, but you see Tyrion and Sansa, they kind of start fading in the back. Same thing with Daenerys. This right here is a must-buy for me. Even if you don't pick up the thrones, that for a custom pop, that for anything looks sick. You got some 5-star figs as well, but that one on the horse is cool. Here's the Modern Family pops. I wanted to show these. I know my brother's a big fan of the show. I don't watch it, but I know he's into it a lot. Coming up to our DC Primal Age, look at the size of that box. It's massive. It's massive. And you can see these figures are pretty big. Wait to see how big Crypto Dog is. You can see some of the little action poses, how they got him on the stand. The boxes are pretty big. I like these. I like the style of them or how they actually came out of the box. They look really, really good. Coming into our NASCAR, we were presented with these during the catalog and their releases. These ones look good. I can see a lot of people buying them. I can't wait to see the size car they put out with them. Are they going to make it so that they fit in it perfect, or should they do it with just a small one on the side? Now, coming into some NFL stuff. They had the older release out as well, but this was their new stuff. You know, Funko loves to play that favorite with the brothers there being Seattle, and you can see the peasants in the background. Now, out of sports fans and sports pops, these UFC ones got a brand new sculpt, well needed, well deserved right now. The Muhammad Ali pop was out on display. He looked really good with that iconic pose that a lot of us would always think of Muhammad Ali as. You got the new Michael Jordan as well. Great pose. And then the one and only Babe Ruth in form. Up top here, we actually have the baseball pops here. They are the same sculpt as the other one, but they're the opposite jerseys. It was actually one of the easier lines for Funko this year because all they did was change the jerseys on all these, and that is including these these mascots, not ad icons, they're mascots from there. I'm excited to pick these up. Not all of them, just a few. And then as you can see, there's more of these baseball ones. They had a whole shelf just for MLB alone. Now that Batista, I mentioned, I did not like the way that looked. Randy Orton's kind of the same way. He doesn't have that style and flair like Ric Flair himself. He looks perfect as a pop form. Same thing for Charlotte. We did see Ronda already, and we've seen Kurt as well. Back to the UFC ones. Usually when I really like some kind of figures, I'll go back over and over again, and you can see it right there. Now, these were the only ad icons that Funko actually had out. I did see the Peeps. I like those, and I like the Sour Patch ones. And the Sour Patch actually feels like a Sour Patch. Now, seeing these out of box, they are a must-have for sure. I highly suggest those. And this was that Pet Cemetery pop that I mentioned that was like in between of all the newer stuff. that's actually currently out, and he was just sitting there. So if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have seen him. He's again with these newer ones. I've seen the Rudy. I really like that. The Zoolander, I was iffy for. But the Street Fighter wave was out. And then they had some of the older ones that were released last year. These things do look great out of box. I wish they made some collector-friendly boxes for these so you can take them out and not feel guilty that you have to buy another set or you don't want to throw away the other box. Kind of stinks, and there's some horror in there. We have Lady Justice out of the box, Axl Rose, and I had to say this about Slash. He's on display. He has that rock and roll guitar that had a little controversy about 2 years ago when it was first released. So yeah, so now we got some Prince Pops, some newer waves that are currently out. I had to stop everything here and show you guys this image. How much Fortnite stuff was out there. Fortnite was their biggest booth, you could say, their biggest display out there, and they have everything. Everything that's a Funko product is a Fortnite figure, and personally, I love these 5-star figures. They look so good, and they got the vinyls, but I also was interested in seeing these pint-size heroes as a 2-pack. Those are going to be very popular, I'm going to tell you. If they get the keychains, I think they were out on the peg hooks right there on the right-hand side. They're going to hit a home run this entire 2019, and you've seen what they did in 2018. The Five Nights at Freddy was much smaller this year around than last year. That was like the only real shot that I actually had of Five Nights at Freddy because it wasn't as big. Now, we have some Star Wars stuff. Usually for these kind of events here, they don't put nothing new for Star Wars out. No spoilers allowed. You can see all the newest waves, some of the older stuff. I liked it. They got the newest wave here with these Star Wars Pops. I haven't picked them up just yet. We're going to have to see and wait. They always get a lot of attention now. Coming in with the Rick and Morty line. Last year, Rick and Morty and Deadpool had the biggest little display shelves. Here, they didn't get that much. There's nothing new, no spoilers, nothing you can actually get. Over the past, 2 years that I've been going to this, I've realized that there's 2 sections that get the most credit. You guys see with the Muhammad Ali section, and this section right here gets a lot of credit. And you can see the SpongeBob figures. I'm obsessed with them. I thought those were one of my personal favorites for sure. You have the Cheers line right here. And then you got the vinyl Cheech and Chong going over. This was the new Shazam wave. I don't know if it's currently out, but they were out and they were on display with the more popular new wave that they want to release. You got Jaws sitting here on the bottom. He looks really big. He looks cool. He has that little tank in his mouth. And then they have the rest of the figures, not completely done yet, but they're out. And then you can see, I guess that was a common version of the actual Jaws shark. Then coming into a shocking new wave, and look how good they look. Wow. Ghostbusters, guys. Ghostbusters was definitely a big theme. They took front and center of that big, huge display that they usually put the most popular stuff in. As you can see with that movie moments, I took my time on that. That was a really great looking piece, possibly the best movie moments that they'll ever has ever been created. You got more of those little figures, and then you got the newest wave of the figures coming out soon. They look so good. You got Slimer with all those hot dogs. Now I wanted to pause this here. Look at the building. Look at the pop. Perfect. I think that looks excellent. The size looks really good for a collector to put in their collection. And then you have the Stan Lee Patina Funko Pop that's coming out. I asked them, how did they keep the license for the Stan Lee Pop? They said, well, it was a convention exclusive for quite a while, and then they got the rights to it to make it a actual common. Moving along to some, and the only Marvel Pops that I actually seen out on display, the new Spider-Man. I'm loving the new poses. Funko's getting very creative with their styles. Much better than they was in the past. It's unreal. And if I go back to one, you usually know I really like it. You can see it again with the Ghostbusters. Everything looks so good on display there. And like I'll mention, if I'm going back to it, I really liked it. Look at Squidward. You got your SpongeBob Pops. I'm loving it. And then that pineapple looks so good. Oh, did I mention that I go back to it? Yeah, SpongeBob, that pineapple. You got Gary, you got SpongeBob. They look really good. Definitely a top for me. Moving on to the newest Big Bang Theory Funko Pop wave coming out. They had them all on display. They all big. It was a big wave. There was a lot of characters in it. You got the Men in Black, the 4 Pops there. And then I didn't remember seeing them, but I seen them there. The bear, whatever. Then you got a Bulbasaur. Heading over to the Caddyshack line. Look at the new wave. I think those are pretty cool. And they got a bunch of characters right off the bat. They didn't go with 3 or 4 characters. They went with basically the entire wave. You got some DC stuff. You guys know I'm not the biggest DC fan, but you got that black box for the Batman. You got the Jeopardy figures out. They're all right with the Wheel of Fortune. This was the 40th anniversary of Alien that they actually had over here. I don't know if they were new or not. I wasn't too sure. But then again, you got a Bulbasaur. Now heading back up so we can get a shot of the newest wave of those Community Funko Pops from that new series that they just announced. Now this is some anime stuff. They had this all together. They had a Hellboy in the mix over there. And did I mention Bulbasaur at all, guys? Now my personal favorite too. I could probably say it a few times. You got the Simpsons, baby. Radioactive Man. The only complaint I have is I hope they make these guys a little bit better because it feels like I can actually almost look through the yellow on there. And the one thing I hate too is you'll see it on Mr. Burns, his cheeks like widen out, like he's like a little fat little cute little toddler baby. Now this was Stanford and Son, big and popular. Big and popular. I was surprised how many people enjoyed those. And did I say Bulbasaur before? And the new Addams Family, it's classic. It's off the TV show. I did say the movie originally, but it's definitely off the TV show. And then this right here, if they ever were going to make a Cletus Seldon Funko Pop, this is how they would display it. They would just handwrite it. Here's your Pop, Cletus. We're done. See you next year. That's how it is. That's how J.J. Abrams was as well. Dark Phoenix was out on display. I think I've seen a little bit of Captain Marvel. I'm not sure, but she was out there. And then Post Malone was out too. Very popular. I didn't know, but he is. My Hero Academia. That was the only stuff they had that was new. And then look at him. Ooh, Raditz. Back there, we got Vegeta. You got Goku, Chi-Chi, we already got. Kid Buu, he actually broke. You can see on his head if we get back into there. His head actually broke. And then Nappa. I really wish they go back and make these guys into 6-inch Funko Pops, please. There you go with Evil Boo right there. His ceramic actually broke. You got Freezer on the back there. I do love my Dragon Ball Z Pops. And then heading right over into Castlevania, the Vampire series that's animated. They were out on display with the Fairy Tale line next to My Hero Academia. Secret Life of Pets 2. Popular movie, looked cool, looked cute. I like when they make the animals. And then right here, I got a great shot of the Betty Boop sign and the figure. It stands beautifully. I really like that sculpt that they did for that. And then we have the only new ad icons on the display together. Huge shout out to Brian Mariotta, CEO, for being able to take an item that he collects, that he enjoys, and be able to put it through the entire display of the company. This entire Funko booth had nothing but Pezzes every few feet you walked. You have some BTS Funko Pops. I'm not too sure about them. They're rocks, K-pop. These must be the commons because I was told by the executives that their 7-pack actually sold out instantly when it went on Barnes & Noble's earlier. Now, these are another good personal favorite of mine, the Kiss Funko Pops. Reason being, not just because of the crazy sculpt and amazing sculpt, but for that Kiss drum set. I can see a lot of people taking that drum set, customizing it, and being able to add their other line, just like we've seen Garth and Wayne before. They were proud to display the Britney Spears newest wave of coming out. They must have did really good sales with a Target exclusive t-shirt when it came out. Congrats to them. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and watching this video. when you go to these booths, sometimes you see some of those pops that are actually out now or have been out, and you see them out of the box, you really like them. I didn't put them in here, but the Sparks character, and then seeing those Wayne World pops, I really like them. And obviously, that newest wave of figures that are coming out are going to be great with the animation for me. Let me know what your favorite is, guys. Is it the Ghostbusters, the Simpsons, the SpongeBob's? Are you Big Bang Theory Funko Pop fans? Let me know, guys. Whew. See you in the next one. Boom.